Hey, what's going on YouTube? Hometown Fitness coming through. Want to make a quick video for you vintage hat collectors of people that are trying to get into vintage hat collecting. Things to look for when you're buying your vintage hat, whether it be on eBay or whatever. Always ask for pictures, you know what I'm saying? If you're walking through, or maybe if you're at, like, say, a garage sale or a yard sale, and you come across an older hat, you want to know if it's vintage or not. Definitely what you're buying. Let's get into it. I just want to show you the tagging between the years. I know you've seen videos on this, but I just want to point it out because there's not a lot of vintage hat collectors out there that are on YouTube. I know there's a lot of vintage hat collectors out there. I've talked to a lot of them, but they don't make YouTube videos, and I wish they would because their collections are amazing. But anyway, I just want to show you guys that are trying to get into it. I've laid my hats out here just to show you the difference. These are all my vintage hats, but I'm going to show you the different tagging that goes throughout the year. So my oldest ones right here, my Sox and my Red Sox and the White Sox hats, they're definitely my oldest hats, and I would definitely say this Boston Red Sox hat is definitely from the 70s. I'm going to throw that out right now, and I don't care. Like, I have to say it. It is definitely from the 70s. And so is this White Sox hat. It is definitely a 70s hat with this leather band. So let's go and let's get into the tagging. As you can see in the tagging with this one, with this Red Sox hat, it has this New Era font right there. Well, you'll see this font run all the way up until the late 90s, mid-90s. You'll see this font for New Era, but then they changed their logo. They get the more crazy airbrush look to it. But you'll see in the old ones, they have a DuPont visor. So always read that. It says it's weatherized, it's pre-shrunk, perspiration proof, made in Canada, or made in USA, and everything, right? So it's authentic Major League Pro model. And of course this sizing tag that's right here, you'll notice that one's a little bit different from, say, like when I get into the late 80s into the very early 90s, you'll see that it changes, that sizing tag. And another thing, here it is on this Chicago White Sox one. The other thing I was talking about was this MLB licensing tag that's not on this hat here, and it doesn't look like anybody's chopped it out or hasn't put it on or whatever, or like cut it out. You know how people back in the day used to cut their tags out because maybe they'd flip down and they'd poke out while they wore their hat, so they just chop the tag off. Well, that one doesn't even show that it had one, so I'm not too sure about that. But anyway, this is you got the Major League one right there, right? The baseball licensing right there, and then of course you got that same font for New Era there, and it has the same DuPont visor, weatherized, pre-shrunk, all that pro model, and there's that sizing tag there as well, which follows the same as that Red Sox hat. When you're starting to get into later years, this one here, the Diamond Era collection started coming out in the Diamond collection started coming out in like 1984 is when they introduced it. This hat isn't from 84, so let's not get carried away on that. But this is what they definitely came out with, like in like the 80s, like mid 80s, all the way up until I would say 96. Then they started dropping this, and they more or less just got into their regular tagging that you know of today. Of course, like I said, there's that same New Era font down there, but then they come up with this like airbrush type of more funky look to their logo right there. New Era ran this for quite some time actually, and of course there's the sizing tag right there. You'll see that 7 1/4. So the sizing tags run for a while, all the way from, like, I would say from when this Diamond collection came out, from 84 up until I would say maybe about 94, when they started getting into the 5950 look, which are these hats right here. Like the 5950 hat, they still have the Diamond collection, but you'll see the sizing tag changes. It says 100% wool, made in USA, and then it has the Pro model 5950, still has that same font for the New Era there, and that same funky airbrush kind of looking for the New Era there. So they stuck with this font for quite some time. They never gave that up until later years. Let's say, for example, this Yankees hat that I have. Then they start getting into the fly your own flag look, right? And you got the official on-field hat written right there, authentic, whatever. And then you got this, and then your sizing tag, which gets even bigger. And then of course you take the hat that I'm wearing right now, which I bought last year, my Blue Jays hat. You can see the tagging that's inside that. So you still got that authentic on-field hat. You still got that giant tag right there with the flag. And then of course you got the giant sizing tag. So they're definitely running things. It's definitely things you need to look for when you're buying vintage hats. Definitely ask the person to send you more photos of the tagging on the inside. You can't go based on the underbrim because the gray underbrim definitely runs deep into later years as well. It all depends on which team, how they ordered their hats, what they wanted, because this green and the gray are definitely vintage, but it doesn't depend on which one's the oldest, you know what I'm saying, because they both ran at the same time. So back in the day when I first started, I always thought that the green underbrim was the most vintage, but it's not. And this new hat that I just picked up, that I mentioned on my Facebook page, Hometown Fitteds, check it out. I mentioned that I had picked up a new hat coming, and it's coming, man. It's badass. Wait till you see this thing. I'm so excited about it. Rory, you already seen it. Grand Slam, man. I sent you a picture of it, and man, I love that hat. I love vintage hats. Definitely something you got to look for when you're collecting hats. Obviously, the crown as well. Make sure your crowns are strong and sturdy. Make sure that brim is still as flat as the day that it was bought. Make sure the hat is crisp. I always like a nice crisp white sweatband, something I always look for. The crisp under brim as well, so there's no fingerprints on it. Real vintage hat collectors know, man, you gotta look for the most crisp hat, and I never wear my vintage hats because I like to keep them as crisp as I possibly can. Hometown Fitter, Snap Snapper Fitted. I hope you like this video. Shout out to all my subscribers. Reached 1,000. That's unbelievable. Thanks to all you guys, man. And I wouldn't be making videos if I didn't get the subscribers that I have, man. You guys are amazing. Peace.